coaching Shaun in wrestling. Shaun was a young student, an elementary student, probably 5th or 6th grade, something like that, in that area. And Shaun was a skinny, kind of a taller, skinny kid, not particularly tall, but medium height. He wasn't the toughest kid on the block, of course, but there was other kids that picked on him once in a while. But him and Cole would would go over and they'd fight the kids next door. They'd wrestle them and they'd bug each other basically. But I thought Shaun, because his older brother wrestled, I thought Shaun might enjoy wrestling, even though it's tough. And during wrestling, it was hard for him, but he learned a lot, I think, by it. I kind of lived my life a little bit through him because I wasn't able to finish wrestling. So I'm sure that I really loved coaching him and working with him through wrestling. And it was a connection that we could do things together. Shaun, I frustrated Shaun when I was young because I was pretty mean sometimes, and he and I didn't always get along, or he felt uncomfortable sometimes around me. But this was an opportunity where I could work with Shaun, teach him some skills that I knew, help him develop some self-confidence, physical self-confidence, that he could take care of people if there was anybody that bothered him, etc. Well, anyway, I taught him in elementary, and we really focused on technique. He wasn't the strongest kid around, but he was very technical, and he learned technique really well. He was very coachable when he was in 5th, 6th, 7th grade. Maybe it was 7th, 8th. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure the grades right now, but maybe it was in junior high. I'm not exactly sure. However, we went to a lot of wrestling tournaments, and typically each time he would go out and wrestle, I would instruct him on some things that he needed to do, moves that he needed to develop his skills with, create mat time, score a lot of points. And then the first round was about takedowns, the second round was about escapes, takedowns, and points. Third round was more his to pin his opponent. He ended up taking state his 9th grade year, what's called junior high state in the state of Utah. Did really well and had some really great battles with some of the other wrestlers. But what we did was I would teach him technique. We would watch technique on the video, on the TV, the internet, primarily the videos. We had more videos back then. We would teach him technique. He would learn it. He would go practice it during his matches, during practice. One of the terms I used to give to him was cut him, cut. And that meant that he had to cut the guy, let him loose, and then retake him down or come to a position of control. If he got too close to a pin, I'd tell him to cut the wrestler, allow the wrestler to get away, and then take him back down to a pinning position again, or score more points. We tried to score, a major decision before, or close to a major decision before he would actually pin the guy, because we were working that he would be able to do well in the tournaments and in the matches, and that he would be able to do well at state. Because our goal, I'm sure a lot of that goal was my goal, but I tried to help him set the goal of taking state in junior high. So, and it was not always easy. It was hard. It was hard for him. It was hard for me sometimes. It was hard for me to see him going through the struggles of wrestling and the frustrations of it. But he was very, very coachable right then, and he did what I asked. There was one time when he was gonna. I told him there was a guy from. And this guy was probably going to be pretty tough. Anyway, he got out there, and he got kind of nervous for the match, and when he was wrestling, the guy, he wasn't very tough, and Shaun just looked at me like he was mad at me because I told him that the guy was going to be tough, and he had got all excited and nervous about the match, and then the guy was easy, and he just grabbed the guy and pinned him. So he was like, "In your face, Dad, I'm mad at you for getting me all excited or nervous about this match." But anyway, Shaun was a really good wrestler. Wrestled with some other kids, and I can't remember all their names, but anyway, I would always tell him to cut the guy. Cut, and it meant release the wrestler, and then I would also yell out, "Kill him, kill him." It sounded like kill him, but it was the name kill him, and it was a really cool roll from the opposite side. He would take him and it would roll him, and then bring him into a pinning position as he was rolling over. But it was really fun to watch watch my son progress. And when he was in high school, he didn't really like wrestling that much, and he kind of wanted to quit. But then he ended up his junior year and senior year continuing on, and going to practice because he knew it was good for him. It was tough, but it was good for him. And I regret pushing him so hard sometimes in wrestling, because I know it was more me driving him than him driving him. So I learned some of that. I learned what not to do as a parent, to push him. My dad had pushed me really hard in football. Never gave me an opportunity or a chance to quit football. I was always, you will play football, and there was no option whatsoever to quit. I was forced to play sports. I was forced to play football. Pretty much forced to do wrestling also, but for sure I was forced to do football. And I really, I'm really irritated, and I hold a lot of, I don't know if I hold a lot of feelings, but I hold quite a few feelings about when a dad makes a son do something. And I've made my older son do things, and I've made some of my kids do things, and it's been hard, but I pushed Shaun a lot. I felt like he needed to be pushed also, because he kind of enjoyed doing, relaxing things a lot, but I pushed him because I knew he needed to learn how to fight hard, work hard, and to learn how to wrestle and to defend himself and his family when he got older. But anyway, I hope he'll forgive me of pushing him so hard. But in wrestling, I would teach him to work the matches as long as he could, be as technical as possible. His coach in high school would always come up and say, "Hey, I want to coach him, and when I'm coaching him, I don't want you coaching." But then sometimes I'd look over and his coach wasn't coaching him, so I'd yell for Shaun and coach him. But I felt like I wanted to be a part of wrestling, because I got wrestling taken away from me when I was young. When I was a senior in high school, I got cancer. Was never able to wrestle after that ever again. Really, I mean, we fiddled around a little bit, but I was so weak on that arm I couldn't do anything anymore. So I know I was living my life through him. But hopefully, some of these things, this wrestling, hopefully it benefited him. And like I say, I apologize for being so forceful. I've apologized to him many times, and he tells me he forgives me. But I don't know. I just want to make sure that he knows I love him, and that I tried to do the best that I could for him at the time. And he did really, really, really well. His coach said he was one of the most technical guys on the team. For me, the fact that Shaun showed up every day for practice was amazing, because it wasn't easy for him. Wrestling's not an easy sport, but he had lots and lots of really great matches. Scored lots and lots of points. We have lots and lots of, hopefully we have lots and lots of good videos of him. Anyway, I absolutely loved coaching Shaun in wrestling, because he was so teachable, so workable. As he got older through high school, he got more independent and didn't take as much of my input. But he did, when he went on his mission, he said that it was easy compared to wrestling. So I think he was glad that he wrestled. I'm sure he would have liked to play other sports like volleyball, things like that. He loved other things too. But I absolutely loved helping him and creating a connection with him, and traveling with him and being with him and doing the things that I did with him in wrestling were a lot of fun. They were probably more fun for me than him. I like to pick the fights and let him fight them. But anyway, I tease him about that. But I believe that over time, that wrestling was good for him. It will help him be tough in his life when he needs to be.